What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Voice of Veloce Podcast for episode number 5, and we are joined, myself and Mickey, by our Veloce team manager, Cam Royale. Cam, welcome to the Voice of Veloce Podcast. It's good to have you on, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Hayden and Mickey. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We're doing what we got to do. You've been a very busy man recently, haven't you?
Very, very busy. Super busy.
So you just finished uni, so I want to say congratulations live on air, and then obviously give the opportunity to the guys watching to say congrats. You've just finished your university course.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
It was the worst year of my life, I think, just because it was the final year of uni, so trying to balance Veloce and uni together was a bit, it was tricky, to say the least, but, since I finished, it's so rewarding, but it doesn't feel any different, so... I got so used to just doing work every day for both the company and uni. It was just like I got into a rhythm, but now I don't have to worry about uni, but it doesn't feel any different. Like I woke up at 6 this morning and it's my first day off. Like it's just, yeah.
You've got a whole world in front of you now. So, God, I can go outside now. Well,
amazing.
I mean, you can't, but you can look out the window, I suppose.
Exactly. What course were you doing?
I did graphic design.
Yeah.
For my degree.
So. And I suppose from like an esports perspective, obviously that's been something that's helped quite a bit from our side. And then from that, would you say that did you find the job at Veloce during the university course, and was it because of the graphic design, or how did that kind of come about?
No, I mean I got recruited by Jamie basically. It was just happen chance that I messaged him about like a thing I was setting up, and we wanted to get Veloce's input on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie basically just said, it might be worth you coming in, having a chat with us. Because I was doing like talent management and stuff for another company voluntarily before that.
Cool.
But yeah, so I came in, and then Jamie basically just, he said, we'll get back to you, and then within a day I had an offer. And I took it obviously because it was a paid job, and I was working voluntarily, and I was a student as well, so you don't have a lot of spare income when you're a student, so every bit helps.
Yeah, definitely not. No, that's what the reason I wanted to kind of jump into that a little bit at the start was because obviously elements of this podcast help our listeners to try and who want to do the same as what we're doing, getting into esports and things like that. And I knew obviously having volunteered for companies in the past, Cam, that's like a huge element to finding a job in esports, because there's just at the moment there isn't that many jobs. So one of the major routes into it is you have to just put the graft in and show your worth before you're offered a job, and that comes in the form of volunteering. You're kind of like the proof in the pudding that works, because now you've just left university and you have walked straight into a full-time position with Veloce, a company that you'd previously worked for.
Yeah. I mean, I think like voluntary work, although it's kind of annoying to do, to be honest, it shouldn't really be annoying to do. It should be something that you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, things just kind of have a way of working themselves out. I think, if you're putting in a lot of work, and the work that you're doing is of, good enough quality, then, you get people like Veloce and other esports businesses looking at you for advice on how they could, progress forward. And yeah, I think balancing it with uni, especially, I don't know if I don't know if the degree I was doing was, it's obviously I'm not going to be doing it at Veloce, so
mm-hmm.
There are different career paths, but it's good to have that kind of backup for a degree, and I think you'll find that a lot of companies, especially when you're working part-time while doing a degree, is they're quite lenient and respectful of you going through that process.
Mm-hmm.
I know Veloce especially were very lenient with some stuff. They understood I had deadlines and everything like that. So obviously uni came first. But yeah, I think now, especially with our new partnership, the opportunities for esports and university have kind of merged together quite nicely.
Yeah.
And especially for us to do that is quite cool, to be honest.
It's quite interesting. You said about obviously you're not going to take graphic design on with the role that you're doing, but it's also quite good to be able to have these different talents, because it means that when you are thinking of an idea in that team manager role, you don't have to, go through a certain amount of people to get a job done. You can quite simply, if you wanted to, or you have the time to do it, you can be like, right, I just need this quickly. I've got the abilities to do it myself. So it's still a good role to have, like a good talent to have.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for like a design degree, I mean, my uni taught me how to like think differently. So there's some unis, especially for design, they teach you the practical elements. They teach you the software and how to use the software. But for my uni, they basically just said, you're on your own, learn the software, but we'll teach you the thought process behind design. And like design thinking goes into a lot of different things, and esports especially. And, from like a talent management and kind of marketing perspective, there's a lot of cool ways you can think about things. And I think doing like a creative degree, like I did design was, kind of opened me up to thinking about things a bit differently than maybe you guys had. So it did give us kind of a upper edge on some things, and vice versa from you guys having more experience in esports and stuff as well. So
yeah, for sure. No, and one thing I wanted to touch on with esports in particular, like when you were starting out at university, was esports on your radar from like a studying perspective? Was there any courses available at the time?
No, so not at the time. I mean, recently, obviously, all of these courses have started to pop up, especially in the UK.
Yeah.
I know there are quite a few in America. I think America is actually where it started, right?
Yeah, there's a few colleges now that I've got. Well, there's actually a ton of colleges. When I was looking for jobs, that was like everything in America was an esports coach position.
Okay.
Tons over there.
Yeah, but I mean, in the UK, I mean, there's nothing. But that's not to say it wasn't on my mind. I think esports for everybody that's involved, it's a passion orientated thing.
For sure.
Something that people either grow up doing or really get involved with the culture of it. So it's always been on my mind, but I never really, if you take me back 3 years, I would have never said I was going to be going into a full-time position after uni at an esports company. It's just it never crossed my mind. But obviously the opportunity presented itself, and it's something I enjoy doing. And I mean, if it was available to me, I think I might have considered it for sure.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if you were to go back in time now, and there was a course like the one that Chichester University, cheeky plug, is offering, the esports course that they're doing, would you go that route, or would you stick with the design route, do you think, having the hindsight?
I think, to be honest, I have to be very careful here what I say.
Don't worry,
you kind of put me in a box here, Mickey.
Be diplomatic.
I think if I had to choose, I think I would have probably still gone with my design degree, just because it gives you that kind of versatility.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wasn't. It was my dad that actually suggested me going into a design degree.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on my mind, but if there at the time, if esports was a thing and you could go do a degree in it. It probably would have been something I would have loved to do.
For sure.
But obviously at the time, I wasn't really thinking about that, and there weren't any degrees about it. So it's kind of hard to say. I think. Yeah. But yeah, I think definitely with the stuff we have with our new sponsor, especially, is it's definitely a career path that people could select. For sure.
Well, I've got it up in front of me. So the course that Chichester are offering, so it is more than just an esports course. So when you think esports, often people don't dive into like the deeper meaning to that and all of the different jobs that come around it. So the main like bullet points I've got for the course content is naturally competitive gameplay, because that is what defines an esport. It's something that you play competitively against somebody else in some form of video game. Sports science, which is an element that we haven't actually touched on as Veloce. Not a lot of companies have done, especially like down the grassroots areas. I see it coming up, but nothing heavy on like the physical therapy that you need on your hands and things. Because, again, we haven't had that many case studies in esports of people who've been playing for 30, 40 years and how that affects your body and your position and stuff. So that's quite interesting.
Shai's a good sports science uni anyway. They were like one of the top ones in the country for sports science. Yeah, I lived down the road from it, so it was one.
So it's like a good blend.
Yeah, it's a good one for like sports. It's a good sports university. So sports science coming into that, you're going to get a good knowledge going there about sports science in terms of esports as well, and how it's going to help you out. So
yeah, and obviously, like you say, the sports science element's going to be huge for the areas of jobs coming out of the end of it, because people who our professional athletes in esports are going to need the people to give them the sports science background. Same with the psychology of it, like making sure your mind's right, because it's just as heavily focused on your mind and your ability to problem solve live in the game than it is to have the skills. Event production, that's an element that I used to do as a job. Event production and esports events were always like hugely appealing to me, and we've seen the amount of work that goes in them. You know, we put on #NotTheGP behind the scenes, and it's an absolute ton of work, let alone having an actual site where we put it on. So that'd be awesome to get involved with. And then just the generic business side of things, the partnerships, sponsorships, that sort of stuff. So the course it's awesome actually, and I personally did a corporate management course. If I could go back, I would change to this, because it seems like a similar sort of course but focused on esports, because it's something that I love.
Am I the only one here who hasn't been to uni then?
Anyway, actually, to be fair, there was until this course came up. If someone said to me, "Would you go back to uni?" I would say no. I would honestly have said no, but the esports course I would definitely have gone back to do.
Well, I have been to Chai Uni, but I don't know if I could disclose the reasons that I went to Chai Uni, so we won't talk about that.
Spent time in the student accommodation.
Yeah, maybe, but I wouldn't mind doing an esports course. Why not? Throw myself in there.
Quality.
God, Hayden. Classic.
That's my university experience.
Did you go clubbing, Hayden?
Pardon?
Did you go clubbing?
Did I go clubbing? Like, what sort of question is that? Who didn't go clubbing?
Did you go clubbing there or
I'm
something?
23 years old. Of course I've been clubbing. There isn't actually a club though at Chai. They don't have a club anymore. It used to be called Thursdays, I think, but it got closed down. So anyone who's thinking of going to Chai, going to Portsmouth for a night out, it's only about 15 minutes down the road. So
you remember when I said I had to be careful about what I say? And then you just got and said,
go to Portsmouth for a night out. Go to Chai for uni. Go to Portsmouth for a night out.
Alright.
You don't want to live in Portsmouth.
Save,
I'm a Portsmouth fan. I don't want to live there. Chai's a nice place. Chai's great.
just cut that, didn't it? Right, so another element obviously that we want to discuss is the music side of things, and we can kind of naturally transition that into Twitch. Because as Veloce, we've just launched the summer podcast, which we all put our own summer podcast, the summer playlist, the ultimate summer playlist.
My songs were the best, by the way.
Which songs were yours, Hayden? And we'll let the guys in the comments decide.
Mine was Pumped Up Kicks, Wicked Games, and Let Me Love You, I believe. Those were my three.
Good tunes. Cam?
Wow. I had Dang by Anderson .Paak, and then I had The Sound of Violence, and then I had Sweet Dreams, I think. Oh no, I was Walking on a Dream.
Sick. And I think the main reason that we decided to do that was it was to give the Veloce community a kind of like a different perspective on us. Another reason to kind of see what we do. You know, if people don't like F1 racing, if they don't like Fortnite, then, you know, a lot of people like music. So it's just another string to the bow. And music, as you guys both well know, is such a huge part to video games. So many streamers will pair their favorite music with their games because it just adds an extra element for the chat, doesn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. Sure. Yeah, it's a great playlist. Anyone who's thinking of listening to it, if you're listening on Spotify at the moment, just click on Veloce Esports and you can find the playlist. So go find it there. But
I think it's one of the playlists that's like, it's actually quite well spread in terms of the song selection. I mean, there's a couple that obviously aren't going to meet your taste every time, but you know, in terms of a playlist on Spotify, it's pretty good, to be honest. You can just sit through it and listen. Like, I've never really done that with a playlist, but it's also quite nice to find new music too, especially coming from our team as well. Yeah. It's quite a cool idea.
There is a wide range of different people's songs.
Yeah.
So there's a good mix there for anybody who's listening.
It's a full-on mixtape. So it's like 55 minutes long as well. So there's definitely going to be something for everybody like on there. And like you say, Cam, you can find new music if you want to use it for your own Twitch streams or whatever it is that you want. Driving in the car, just sitting, chilling at home while you're doing work. It's long enough to kind of get you through that, and you can skip any songs that you don't like. There's a few curveballs in there actually as well. I'm not going to say which ones, but you have to go listen to the podcast and you'll know when you hear them. But we're going to keep doing it. If you guys have got any suggestions for songs that you want to put in, let us know in the comments. And I suppose it transitions quite well into, like we said, music goes so well with Twitch. And Cam, you've been doing Friday night DJ streams for a long time
Oh,
now
yes.
with the Veloce Esports. So tell us
Oh,
about
yes.
the origin of that, some of the weird little nuances that you've got, and then of course I'll let you kind of go from there. But there's a lot of production value going into it.
Yeah. I mean, I started DJing just as a hobby, and then I ended up being persuaded by my friends to do a competition that the uni was holding. And then it was like they were opening a new club, so they were looking for student DJs, this sort of thing. And I ended up winning by chance. I practiced the same set list for a good 2 days before. It wasn't like on the spot mixing whatsoever. It was just I had calculated it to the T of when I should transition and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they gave me the gig, and I was like, okay, now I actually have to focus a little bit on what I'm doing. So I ended up basically being a DJ at the uni club for a couple months. And then during this isolation period, we were just bored out of our minds. And one night we just decided, let's just do a DJ stream.
Cool.
Why not? And we ended up doing it. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever done in my life. But some of the props that my housemates have come up with, I mean, for a fog machine, we're using an iron. Like, it's an iron. You use the fog from the iron, and it just sprays everywhere. And it's it alludes to an actual fog machine. And then we've got a flamethrower. We've got Alberto, who's this inflatable llama. I mean, the list goes on and on. But yeah, it's good fun on Friday nights. We usually go for, I think it was like 4 hours average, from 8 until God knows when. And people decided also to do a sub for a shot. So that's always fun as well. But yeah, I mean, it's good fun.
So it's what actually, just out of curiosity, when you do the sub for shot, because that would send me instantly. I know there was one occasion where Ryan subbed to give you 10 gifted subs, so I do 10 shots. What is it? Shots of vodka? What are you actually drinking?
It's honestly a mixture of whatever. I know, because my housemates, they kind of just surprise me with stuff, so I can be drinking vodka one time, and then the next one, like, I'm not even paying attention, and obviously it's dark, so I can't really see what the drink is. So I'll think it's vodka, and then I'll take a giant shot of, tequila, and it just sends me. But yeah, that time Ryan donated 10, that night was not good. That did not end well. That wasn't good at all. We decided to split the shots after that. Like, it was just too much, way too much.
So have you found, out of curiosity, when you did that, so you were going from DJing in the actual uni club, and then you've got to DJing in the flat with the guys that are kind of helping with the production side of things. Did the university help with any advertise it for you at all? Did you try and get in touch with them?
So my course teachers, given that they're design tutors, they're quite wacky. So yeah, they were loving all the the inflatable llamas and all this other stuff, and they thought it was really cool. So they ended up putting it on like the School of Design, Instagram page and stuff like that.
Nice.
It never got like promoted by the actual uni, student union themselves, but yeah, for my course and my kind of building, it was promoted quite heavily, which is kind of cool. But it was also kind of weird because I knew that I had my Tuesday tutor watching me, like down shots and flamethrowers going everywhere, and yeah, it was a bit crazy, but yeah, it was cool.
No, I love it. So I suppose, in regards to things like that, it's like having your teacher actually watch you. Like, usually when you're in primary school and things like that, there's an element of you getting told off and things, but when you're at university, you can kind of just go as hard as you want, and that's again the beauty of Twitch. But there's always consequences to doing things wrong, and we've heard recently this week with streaming, another esports driver has completely cocked up, has got himself suspended from his team. So I suppose, Hayden, if you want to kind of give us the intro into that,
Okay, so
and we can discuss this because it's quite hot, and we can clip this immediately from today and get it straight out.
quick disclaimer, this podcast was filmed before Daniel App's video. So basically, if you don't really know what's going on, in Formula E there's a driver called Daniel Apt. He drives for Audi, and Formula E have been doing their own esports races, I think like every sort of weekend or every other weekend, but they have all of their drivers, I believe, or a majority of their drivers taking part. Now Daniel Apt didn't really fancy taking part, so what he did was he got a professional esports driver to take part instead of him. I don't actually know where this esports driver finished. I presume he won it, but let me just have a quick little look.
Yeah, sure. And it's like it's a weird one because like you'd think he would want to just take part, and I don't know why he's done it. I don't think I've read a couple of articles, and none of them actually say why. None of them have actually said who's replaced him yet, so I don't know if that person's getting in trouble as well.
There's a lot of crashes in this Formula E one, like because it's on R Factor. I don't know. I haven't really done much of R Factor 2 before, so I don't really know how good that game is. But there's been a lot of crashes and stuff like that. But yeah, so he got someone in instead. He donated €10,000 to a charitable project because of being disqualified because they found out that he did it. So he's kind of, he's paid his dues. He's paid a fine, 10,000 to a charity, and then Audi have come out and completely dropped him from their real life team. Well, that's what's being said today. Is that
was that after he'd made the donation as well?
Yeah. So after he's got the $10,000 or euro fine, he's been dropped by them, which in my opinion, I think it's completely unfair.
Okay.
And it's going to stop a lot of people taking part in these things. I am very much a believer that these are, when it comes to the real life drivers taking part, they're for fun. They're to entertain fans, It's just a bit of fun. And I quite rate what he did. It's quite funny at the end of the day. It's a bit of a prank, really, isn't it? He got someone else in. If he won it and then just came out and just be like, "Dad, I'm just kidding. It wasn't really me. Give them the win," something like that. Then, it's complete. It's just a bit of fun. I can understand why some people might be like, "Oh yeah, it's cheating," and they want to take esports more seriously, and yes, we do, but maybe not with the actual real life drivers. Like we saw the Monaco and we saw on Not the GP. It wasn't exactly like the cleanest of racing. It wasn't like top notch. Oh my god, this is amazing. They're not touching each other. There's a lot of wheel banging, a lot of people hitting each other, front wings going everywhere. But it's good fun at the end of the day. It's entertainment for fans, and that's the same with I think the virtual GP that F1 put on. Again, a lot of wheel rubbing. A lot of people. Lando Norris took out Arthur Leclerc, and he sounded like Mario coming out of that. So that's content. It's funny content that's come out of just a crash. So to disqualify and take someone's seat away for something like that, and it's also going to stop real life drivers from doing this more often because they're going to be like, why should I do this if I could lose my seat? Some of them being fair enough. The guy who said a racist slur on a live stream, yeah, that's fair enough. He should have been dropped for that. That is fair
excuse
enough.
For that.
Mm-hmm. Even the guy who sort of rage quit, I don't know, even that one sort of he got taken out, he just quit out of it. Is it really that bad? Is it that big of a deal? This one, again, but I think it was Jean Verns tweeted about this. I think his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa just said that I will never do a sim racing event again because of it.
Really?
Yeah,
I've not seen that one.
And find that tweet. But,
so I understand what you're saying 100%. I take that on board, and I personally do also agree that the punishment is too harsh. But I personally don't agree with that. It's kind of like it being okay because 100%, like hashtag not the GP, Monaco. I've been reviewing the clips. I've got a great one of Charles and Lando going at each other, and there's a point where Charles just purposely bumps into Lando purposely bumps into Charles for a joke. Like they're not taking it that seriously, and we don't expect them to because at the end of the day, it's entertainment for the fans. Whilst we're in the downtime, it's not their real racing. Like they are not really bothered about winning. And nor really should they be because it is a bit of fun. Similar goes with an FE racer coming in to do sim racing. I don't expect him to take it 100% serious. It's entertainment and things like that. I think it just comes down to the deceit, and it's bad sportsmanship to kind of be lying about you racing it. And I don't know the thought process behind it, so I can't say whether he was doing it just to kind of as a joke or if you just couldn't be bothered and wanted to still get the clout for racing it. So I do think it's really wrong. I don't think he should have been suspended from his FE because it's just two different entities really, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I think I have a hunch as to why I think he's got this esports driver in is because in previous races or something, I think I read in the article that he was qualifying quite low down in the grid.
Right.
He might not have been getting the best publicity for it and all this other stuff. So I feel like he's just brought in this esports driver to maybe get his reputation a bit more up there in terms of grid placement and qualifying. But I don't know, on the topic of right or wrong, I I feel like if this was purely an esports event, for example, and this happened, if it was flipped, I feel like teams would also drop the esports drivers, because it's although they're separate entities, and one's for entertainment mainly and one's for an actual competition and all this other stuff. I still think that a lot of these drivers inherently are super competitive.
Yeah.
Competition from brands to drivers themselves, to sponsors even, it's top tier. It's not like, just because they're doing esports, it's less of a competition.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it probably is a bit harsh to drop him from his brand, but at the same time, it's maybe like a suspension could have done, or some sort of quite definitive line that didn't go to the extent of him being fully dropped. Could have been better.
I think he has just been suspended. Just to clarify,
okay.
Just to make sure. I think he has just been suspended from now, but I don't think he should have been suspended from FE. I think he should have just been completely suspended from any sort of e-racing any sort of esports racing where you can't see it's him, because he's been deceitful. Right. But yeah, you're right though. There's the element of sponsorships to consider, and like there's the top level impression that you're giving out to your fans and things like that. There's a lot more to it. And I just personally think he just didn't think he was going to get caught. And you make a really valid point that he maybe just wanted to save a little bit of face and not look bad on sim racing, which who the hell is going to expect him to be good at sim racing?
Like
he's an FE driver.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of sponsors also or teams might even put pressure on the drivers. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I don't want to say anything that's it's a bit obscure, but I feel like just because these sponsors don't have the normal publicity they're getting from the races and the camera angles that they're normally used to, esports, it's new territory. I think a lot of them are quite scared almost, because they're unsure of how things are going to work.
That makes sense.
It's a new dynamic for them. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of pressure on drivers and stuff.
The companies and the things behind it not knowing what they want to produce, what they want their thing to be. We've been quite adamant that we just want ours to be fun. We want to be the fun guys. We want to just be fun. There's not too much pressure on it. If you crash out, it doesn't matter. It's fine. We're not going to come down heavily. If you are constantly purposely crashing someone out like that, then there'll be consequences. You just won't be invited back. Like, that's as simple as it's going to be for our side. But I think for Formula E, I don't think they know what they want to be. F1s, I think F1 know what they want to be. Their virtual GP is for fun, it's for entertainment, it's for content. Whereas then they also do their pro exhibition race with the F1 esports drivers, which is their serious stuff. That's what they've got. So they've got the element. But I don't think Formula E knows what they want their one to be, because they've got their. It's a very sort of serious setup with Formula E's one. They've got all their main presenters that they usually have with green screen, with sponsors all behind them. And it's all very much a sort of serious setup. But at the end of the day, these are guys who are, it doesn't count towards their championship. Well, are they getting paid for this? We don't know the ins and outs of that. But yeah, Antonio Felix Costa tweeted out, goodbye Twitch, goodbye streaming. I'm out, see you never.
That's just dumb, in my opinion.
That's
because you're burning a bridge that could be taking you to like the ultimate part of your career potentially one day.
But you could also be risking your job if you do something that you think is nothing wrong, because you don't take it as seriously as some other people might be taking it seriously. Yeah. And then your job's gone because you're just great. That's my career.
To say that's like goodbye Twitch, and you'll never see me on it. The Twitch community, if you ever come back, are just going to be flaming him like, oh, look who's back. Like, it's just such a dumb way to put it. Like, just don't do it and don't make a tweet. That's just my.
The thing is, like, for these drivers, they don't really need Twitch. They don't need to be on Twitch. Twitch for them is for the fans. It's to entertain the fans. It's to get the fans closer to their drivers. And if they're going to risk their careers by getting closer to drivers where they're not getting actually paid by the teams to do it, the teams aren't forcing them. It's just out of their own incentive to do it. Then there's no point. They won't see the point in doing it, because they'll be like, why should I do this for myself if I'm going to lose my job over it?
Yeah, fair. But then I would argue it's like you're only gonna lose your job if you go on like an idiot. So just don't be an idiot. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Just on that, actually, I know we've been talking about crashing out and sponsorships, like having a little bit of pressure on the drivers as to a potential reason as to why he switched out the driver. Just like an example, where I don't think people have kind of understood from esports. When you crash out in real racing, it's serious. It's like a really negative thing. You know, people can get hurt, people can die, and it's no one wants to see it. The beauty of esports is that kind of becomes like part of the entertainment. Like if we have a big crash, it's something that is very lighthearted and something that can be fun because we know nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, okay, they're not going to win the race and stuff. But if you go on Lando Norris's Instagram right now, for example, the last picture he has of an actual car is from the Indy race when Simon Pagenaud knocked him out, and the car is literally like on the fence.
Yeah.
And that's great because that's like a view of the sponsorship in a positive light that you will have never seen before. Like sponsorships plastered all over the car, it's flying through the air, and that's a positive thing. Whereas if that was real racing, you wouldn't be able to post that because the car's upside down, the guy's about to land his head. So I think there's an element, like you say, Cam, of like education with the sponsors. They're in uncharted territory, and they kind of need to just understand it's a totally different sport.
I just think I think it's a learning process. I think that's the reason why a lot of teams are going to companies like us. They're going to, companies, other esport companies as well. It's just because, we know the territory here, and we know how to put on a good show. We know what is going to be entertaining, what isn't.
True.
And for these guys, I feel like they're a bit intimidated just because they might not have they never thought about getting involved in something like this before, and now they're kind of forced to do it. So it's like, it's like making a person try to swim for the first time. It's quite daunting.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I suppose taking that as well, we had Nathan on the show not too long ago. If you guys have watched it, if you haven't, jump back to episode 3. Nathan's come on to take on board McLaren's esports team from a Veloce perspective. And as Cam said, yeah,
we could last week.
Wait. But what we can't announce is what Cam's coming on to do. And you made a point is that a lot of teams come to Veloce because, we are very experienced in it. We're all very passionate about esports and about F1 esports and racing in general. So we often take on projects for other companies, and this is what Cam's come on to do. So keep your eyes peeled for future podcasts, future content as to what Cam is going to be managing. But I'm certainly very excited about it. It's another foreign company. So we're spreading the net, and there's a lot of collabs that are going to come up. I don't know what we can and can't say. I'm not even going to try and teeter around the edge.
Let's not say anything.
F1 Race Stars Esports, that's what it is. It's F1 Race Stars Esports that Cam's doing.
Jesus, Hayden. What are you doing?
Well, no, there's
Spilling the beans already.
Sorry, I'll blur that part out.
Just go out and say it.
People watching it now will just be like, he did blur it out. Oh my god. But are you excited for what's on the horizon? Obviously, we can't talk too much about it, but it's a lot happening. Like a lot has happened, changed quite quickly for you in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from being a part-time talent manager to now managing the Veloce team to also getting on another project it's incredible, to be honest. I mean, it's a better I couldn't have asked for a better situation, I think. And especially now, like getting a job straight out of uni, especially given the pandemic and everything, it's unheard of, right? So I mean, I'm super fortunate. And I think that's definitely gonna add to my kind of work ethic as well for going forward. But I think the Veloce guys know that. So I think, they might have used it to their advantage a little bit, but I think for sure exciting times coming ahead, and we've got some pretty major projects coming in.
A beautiful aspect that I can kind of see potentially coming into the mix is we've got Alpha, Arava TV, running that. We've announced Ben, team at Marduk, is managing McLaren. And then there's this third team that's potentially going to come on board, or third company. And there's almost like a trifecta of competition we can put on, and some exhibition races. Exhibition races is something that I like to kind of say and compete in different esports as well as racing. And I think it's quite cool that as Veloce, we can kind of influence these and try and suggest some ideas. So the content ideas is a much wider scope now as a result of that, because we can work with more people. So that's going to be super fun. Yeah, I'm
And
really
you
looking
can
forward to it.
make content from putting Ben versus Arab. That's going to be brilliant. F1 Esports, you're going to have Ben, you're going to have Arab. They're going to go head to head. It's going to be brilliant. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for interviews just to grab both of them. And they're good friends. They know each other really well. And I think that's going to be brilliant for like.
There'll be some
F1.
banter.
If they don't get it on F1 Esports in the actual show, I think they're kind of missing a bit of a trick. Just have both of those two who are both entertainers. They can banter with each other, and it'll be quite fun to see, I think.
Yeah,
I'd love to see both of those guys commentating on the F1 Esports official
could you
races.
imagine?
That would be
Like,
hilarious.
Football did like fan zone or something like that. Remember when they did like 2 fans from each club would commentate over the game? Like have something like that. That would be brilliant. Yeah, those two
It's
commentate
almost
over
like
F1 Esports.
the Soccer AM of F1 Esports.
Yeah.
We could do that show. Maybe, I don't know.
You want to get in touch? You know where we are.
There you go.
But no, don't tell F1. We'll just do it ourselves.
Okay.
You got to trademark
F1,
it, Hayden.
Just don't listen to what I just said.
Blur that part out as well. Blur it out.
Say that again, Cam?
Yeah, you sounded.
Blur that part out as well.
Yeah, blur that part out. Nah, we're good. If they hear it, they hear it, and they'll probably want to do it. I think we just leave it as straightforward as we can. On that, actually, on the different types of content, we didn't go that much into Twitch. You know, with Cam doing the DJ stream, something completely off the mark compared to what we usually do on Veloce Esports channel. So I want to know like what the most random things you guys have seen on Twitch is, because when I started out, it was just video games. Music had kind of just jumped into it. So as a result, we've seen so much more going on. We've got girls doing yoga, which we all know why they're doing that. Quizzes, all sorts going.
Why are you watching that, Mickey?
I'm watching girls doing yoga on Twitch,
Hayden,
man.
Okay. So tell me what you guys think. What is on Twitch at the moment that's absolutely insane or absurd, and what you think will come in the future.
I'm gonna hand this one over to you because, in all honesty, I haven't watched too much on Twitch.
Fair.
I'm still not fully into it yet. Like I've got into it as in like doing it. I think it's great. I love it compared to doing YouTube. In all fairness, because it's just so natural. It's just you press live and you're there. You're done. It's no thinking about what do I need to do? What do I need to edit? So for me, I love it that way. But in terms of like looking at different stuff, I haven't sort of gone too much out of my comfort zone at the moment in terms of watching new things.
On that, we all need to go to TwitchCon then as a Veloce entity. The next time there's a live event, because that it was a huge eye opener for me when I went to the Berlin one. I was like, this is sick.
I think I mean, I was watching a Rocket League stream the other day, and like all of a sudden it just changed very quickly into this meme stream. Like,
hold up, Cal.
You need to sort out your mic, man.
What is it?
It's not the mic. I think it's the internet.
It's probably my internet. Is it better now?
There we go. Go.
Sorry. Yeah, I was watching this Rocket League stream, and it turned into this like meme stream all of a sudden. And basically, this guy opened his, like, basically let the chat control his computer, and they were just putting in memes on his. It's very risky to do, right? But they were just putting in memes on YouTube and on Reddit, and people were voting which were good and all this other stuff. Like, it was just wild to see that all of a sudden it just snaps on a dime to a different game, a different genre, and the chat is so involved with it. And I think that's also one of the really cool things about Twitch is that you get that diversity and that kind of variety, and it's nice, especially from our end as well. I mean, we've been doing the stream schedule, trying to mix it up a bit. And I think for going forward, I think we're definitely looking to bring in more content creators from like a Twitch point of view. I mean, I know we're partnered now with Twitch solely, so definitely people with personalities on Twitch that can work with Hayden, that can work with our esport drivers and our players. That would be awesome. We really want to have a variety based company, not just solely focused on racing, even though that is our roots.
No, I think you make such a good point, because Twitch it's just uncharted territory. Like, anything goes on Twitch. I remember like the first time I was going through like the just chatting, and I saw someone who was just literally talking to their chat and ripping a bong every time someone subscribed, and I was like, wait, what's this even allowed? And it depends on what country you're in, of course, and then it just goes from that to someone playing. I don't even know what's the instrument where it's like a piano on the sides, and when you push it together, an accordion.
It's not an accordion, is it?
I think it might be. Is it? I know what you're on about. I know fully what you're on about, but
there's some guy who
I
swear it down, hits 500 plus viewers every single time, and his setup is a green screen behind him and his accordion, and he just plays tunes.
That's wild.
It's
we need to sign him. We need to sign him.
So I think we should do a video where the three of us just go through Twitch and try and find the most random people.
Random stuff.
And then we'll just go through and donate and whatever. And like Cam, you were saying the other day, when you go in and comment in like smaller end Twitch streams as a partnered tick, then people just lose their minds. So there's some cool content that we can go down there, because at the end of the day, as individuals, we're still like just really basic content creators. You know, we haven't blown up in any way, shape, or form. But as Veloce, we're doing really well, and we've got a little bit of power, hopefully, to help other people. So if we find someone mental, like you say, put them on a Tuesday night on the Veloce Esports show, then we could provide some value to the Twitch community.
I mean, this was something that, you know, I was going into these chats on Rocket League. Obviously, we have a RLCS team, so our name's quite well established, and the Rocket League community is quite tight knit. So, you know, Veloce, the brand name goes quite far, and you know, you can jump into an Australian stream and they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's amazing!" And then they try to pronounce the name, and obviously it's wrong because no one knows how to pronounce our name apparently. But then, you know, you get them to do it in an Italian accent, you clip it, and it goes on socials, and it's just this funny little bit, you know. But on that, like, I think especially from our point of view, you know, we do go to smaller streamers. We're looking for, you know, upcoming people, and you know, there usually are. Hayden, why are you grinning?
I'm sorry. Your internet went a little bit. It literally sounded like you went beep boop, beep boop.
Edit Cam out into a Dalek instead of him.
It was just beep boop, beep boop.
Oh no!
Carry on. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, we can go into smaller streamers, and then I've lost my train of thought now, Hayden. You've done me dirty.
It is great when you go to like smaller streamers and you just, like I did the other day on my own one, and I dropped in. I raided some kid who had like 2 viewers at that point. And he was just like, people know who we are. Like, even if it's not Veloce, people know who I am because of Veloce. Like, I dropped in, he was just like, oh, that's Hayden from Veloce. It's just like, so, you know, Veloce being an entity, and then that allows all these different people to grow as well.
Yeah,
just being underneath
totally
that umbrella.
agree. Yeah, and I think on that, I think maybe from now on what we do is, if any of us are streaming, I think we kind of need to just raid someone with max 10 viewers at the end, because the reaction you get from people is amazing, because they are working really hard to even consistently get 10 people watching your stream. Like, it's not an easy feat to jump onto Twitch. It takes a lot of confidence, things like that. So if we go in, raid these people, record it, clip the actual reaction, that in itself is quite cool content, I think. Bloody hell, lots of words
definitely.
Yeah, you can get some pretty insane reactions from people. They can just be very much from, it could be from a, oh cool, someone raided me, to like fully losing their mind and just going, oh my God. So, you know, you want those ones. So if anyone gets raided and you want to be capturing content, fucking lose your shit, alright? I want to see chairs flying, I want to see the desk flip, I want to see you go for it, okay?
The stream just cuts out because of the break the PC in the meantime.
Cheers for the raid. Now can you send me a new PC because I broke mine in the process?
Yeah, exactly.
I think people
Go on.
Sorry. I think people also, like, whenever we do raid streams, or, you know, when we look at them on the Veloce account, they're always like, there's people in the chat who are like, oh, notice, like, you know, how can I join the team, all this other stuff. And they also, you find that their chat's quite loyal to these smaller streamers, obviously.
For sure.
So they're always like, oh, is this guy going to join the team, all this other stuff. And, like, it could actually be that simple. Like, I think a lot of streamers think that they need to have massive viewership counts.
So, go on.
So I'm just saying, I think that, you know, smaller streamers need to give themselves a bit more credit, and they need to be doing, you know, top quality content all the time. Even if you've got five viewers, you know, you need to still be doing it, you know, as best you can, because you never know who's going to join the chat and watch you.
Exactly.
So it could literally just snap, and you're in a team, and, you know, you've got this platform to build your own audience out of. And, I mean, that's kind of what we did with Raggy as well, right? I mean, we've helped him out quite a lot. And other people as well, so it can all change.
I think as well, like the way I see it, like when you say that, if we've got like a small time streamer, for example, they have such a loyal audience that if they were to say, let's say I was the individual streamer, and if I said, right chat, tomorrow night I'm going to be live again the usual time, but I'm not going to be on this channel, I'm going to be on the Veloce channel, it's like a bit of a test run, I might do a weekly show on there, can you please come and support me? Guaranteed they're all going to turn out. 100%. But in addition, we've got the 26,000 or whatever number we're up to at the moment on Twitch that are going to get the notification or whatever if we've got it on, who are then going to come in, and that community is already going to be very welcoming in our chat. So that could be something quite cool to explore, like to just get some sort of artist, go down the music section and find someone who hasn't got many viewers but is a talented guitar player. Get them to do, an hour segment on Veloce, and it could be interesting to see how that grows for both us and them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely.
That's a very good point.
So if anyone listening in the chat has got any particular Twitch streams that you know of, that you're like part of a niche community that's really small, let us know, tag them in the comment section, DM them to us, whatever you feel is the best communication form for you, and we'll certainly look at that. But for now, I think we may be out of time on today's episode.
Yeah, I think Cam's outstairs. Welcome. It's been a pleasure having you on, Cam.
Yeah, well, I haven't enjoyed it, Hayden, so...
Admit it, you've missed me.
No, of course I did. Of course I missed you, Hayden. Of course I did. As much as you annoy me, still love you to bits.
There's a beautiful note to end on. Well, thank you very much for joining us, as usual, Mickey. Thanks for being on here with me. Let us know in the comments who you would like to see next on the podcast. Remember, we've got a wide variety of people from Veloce that we can get in, or maybe someone outside of Veloce. Let us know who you would like to see on next. But until the next time, don't forget to leave all the reviews that you can, like on YouTube, 5-star review on iTunes, correct, on Apple Podcasts, and follow us on Spotify as well. But until next time, goodbye.
See you later.
Goodbye.